What's up, guys? Today we got a good one. We're going to be going over Colby Covington catches a child pedo, and then I don't know what YouTube will allow, and then Israel Adesanya getting some backlash for the comments he made on Dricus 2+, saying he's privileged based on him being from South Africa, and then also his skin color. So we're going to dive right into it. Hopefully I can teach you some things about Israel Adesanya, his background, how he grew up. Then also, we're going to go into this whole catching a predator thing. So with that, let me go ahead and set this up here. This guy named Vitaly, he was famous about 10 years ago for this whole, zombies in the hood. He dressed up like a zombie, went to the hood, would go and scare people, went viral, was pretty funny back in the day. A couple of years ago, he beat up a woman when he was off of mushrooms, allegedly. I think actually he was convicted. So no, yeah, he beat up a woman extremely, extremely bad. Fell off the face of the earth. Now he's coming back. Can't speak today, sorry. And now he's doing this thing called streaming. I guess it's a new popular thing. I don't know what apps people use to do it, but it's you film yourself live, and people are really taking aim at this. And then also it's really popular streaming right now. So just to kind of give you a background, some of the things they do is like they'll go and they'll set up a guy online, and they'll act like they're a 17-year-old girl or something like that, get them to come over, and they do this whole charades of things, and like, hey, we caught you, and it could include, not limited to, bringing an alligator like here on the computer, and having mariachi bands, so on and so forth. I'm going to read a little video snippet from this one. It's different from the Colby Covington one. Go over this just to give you some background how this works. So these guys came in. The influencer Vitaly said copper gator. Eventually, Miami police were called. Officers responded to the home shortly after. I can debrief with whoever wants to. He has all the evidence. One of the influencers seen telling the officers, meeting when the officer walks in, hey, we have this pedophile and all the evidence. Take him in. Flores, can't say his last name, was put into handcuffs and booked into jail. That is the alleged pedophile. Detectives said that after interviewing the suspect, he admitted his intentions with the individual he thought was a minor. There are many laws and many standards that dictate how an investigation is conducted, said Martin. Police indicated that the stunt may have done more harm than good. This is why I'm sharing all this. If you're involved yourself in something like this, you may be opening up yourself to prosecution, said Martin. You may be tainting the case. You may be damaging evidence that is later going to cause the individual that you are trying to get off the streets to walk out of jail free. Flores is facing a charge of traveling to meet a minor for sex. He's expected to appear in court in the coming days. So, awesome, it led to arrest, but letting you know that Flores guy actually ended up teaming up with a lawyer and is suing the streamer. So these aren't always like, oh my gosh, they caught him, the guy gets to go to jail. A lot of the time, sometimes it can ruin the case, and especially when they're not doing it correctly. These aren't Chris Hansen type guys, and as you know, Chris Hansen even quit doing it himself based off someone ending their lives. So with that, let's get right onto this. Colby Covington confronts a child pedo.
Covington confronts child predators. In a recent live stream on Kick, Covington was joined by streamer Vitaly and rapper Lil Pump. Together, they confronted individuals who were accused of preying on children. They also punished them with body shots.
You deserve to get feeding to the alligators and the Everglades. That's what you deserve, dude. Your whole life is a lie. You just lie after lie. You said you're 26. You said, oh no, I never done this before. You're lying. You're swearing to God. You're lying on God. You think God would appreciate you lying to Him? Start being honest with yourself, man. That's what you need to call your wife right now.
Hey, guess what?
Yeah, he needs to call his wife on the cops.
One punch will you.
This is your fate. This is your fate.
Oh! Holy shit. UFC champ.
Colby also
Buzz Brands offers a wide variety of high-quality, low-cost, and low-dose THC options. It's made for the functional person who uses THC, whether it's to enhance life, for pain, or for mood. They have energy drinks, my personal favorite, gummies, shots, and ice creams, guys. Whenever you make a purchase, enter Bear in the notes. On August 25th, I'll pick 2 or 3 of y'all, and we'll send y'all a huge care package of random items from Buzz Brands, guys. That's buckabuzz.com. Enter Bear in the notes. Let's get back to the show.
had some harsh words for LeBron James, whom he's ripped on several times in the past.
In that same ceremony, you have Captain I Hate America LeBron James bestowed the honor of carrying the Stars and Stripes. When I heard that he was going to be the one carrying his country's flag, I thought it was going to be for China. What happened, LeBron? Did you finally give equality and justice to all those children and women sewing your shoes? Did you bring those jobs back to the States?
Congratulations, LeBron.
Stop.
Don't do that.
Or would that mess with your profit margin?
Not too much to get out of there, guys, but we'll go to LeBron real quick. You know, thinking that there's going to be Team America in the Olympics. I mean, after watching the opening and closing ceremony, guys, the Olympics is ran by the devil, in my opinion. It is ran by just people who are anti-America, and so, of course, LeBron James is up there. But when it goes to Colby Covington, I don't think he actually punched the Predator. How they normally set it up is they go to scare the guy sitting on the couch crying. And so what it was, probably that guy was someone they brought in to make it seem like he was another caught pedophile and Kobe's punching him. Sadly, the accused, alleged pedo did not know Colby Covington's fight career, because if you've known, Colby Covington has never ended anyone with his hands, and more especially a body shot. So I thought that was pretty funny. Go ahead and leave that there for y'all. And so with this, let's go right into Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. As you know, Israel Adesanya said that Dricus was privileged. And as you know, they have this whole race war where Israel Adesanya is like, oh yeah, you're the first African champ, you know, and then he's saying the N-word, trying to get Dricus to say the N-word, but he obviously cannot in a socially acceptable world. So let's go ahead and click play on this.
Israel Adesanya has been receiving some backlash on social media today after an interview he did with TMZ Sports. In the interview, Izzy called Dricus du Plessis privileged. He said, Abdul Razak said it before his fight about 3 weeks ago, saying like I respect Dricus, but he's a bitch for what he said. He's a bitch. Because Dricus is saying I train in Africa, I do this in Africa. People like Razak and myself were forced to flee our own country because of a better opportunity. He'll never understand that because he lives behind fucking gates of his privileged life in South Africa. And he's able to do that there. Someone like Francis, who had to cross the desert to go overseas to train. You can't call him not a real African champion because he didn't train in Africa. It's like, are you fucking kidding? The guy got sent back out to the desert 6 to 7 times to go die, and he survived. Even without Francis being champion, without myself being champion, without Kamaru being champion, he would never have been champion. We paved the way for him, and then he comes out there and tries to take it all for himself. What kind of mindset is it that you see 3 African champions and you're going to be the 4th one, and he tries to take it all for himself? He doesn't understand the error of his ways, but I will show him the way. Now, people took issue with this statement because Izzy called Dricus privileged.
Israel Adesanya was born in Lagos, Nigeria, into a life of comfort and advantage.
Life was really easy for me because my family was well off and everything was just taken care of. I didn't really have to worry about anything apart from getting in trouble.
To read off the top posts on X, Izzy grew up with servants. Izzy the dude that grew up with servants talking about privilege. You will all owe Dricus a thank you when he sends Izzy into retirement next week. This user posted Izzy's Wikipedia page that states that Izzy's family had domestic servants who bathed him until he learned how to bathe himself at 8 years old. It says crazy. This user said, didn't he grow up with servants that bathed him? And this user posted this old photo of Dricus. It says Dricus grew up on a farm and had to grow crops in order to survive. Meanwhile, you were bathed by servants for majority of your adolescence. Now, despite the backlash, there is a good portion of the MMA community that's defending Izzy. This user writes, if you don't know shit about Africa, then don't speak. You don't have to be rich to have servants, they're cheap. Most working class families have a maid. His family was working class, so they moved to New Zealand to give Izzy more opportunities.
Just pause it right there, guys. Did you see that photo? Like, Dricus was a farmer, and they had, like, the huge agricultural, like, watering things, like, as if he grew up, like, on some poor farm. But no. So, Izzy, yes, he did have servants. Apparently, he did not know how to bathe himself until he was 8. It is on his Wikipedia page. It says his mother was a nurse and his father was an accountant, which in America, those are 2 really good jobs, especially if you're a CPA and have, like, you know, your degree next to it, and especially if you're an RN. So I was like, okay, well, what is, like, an RN salary in Nigeria on average? We got 119,000 NGN. That's going to be the Nigerian currency. I'm going to assume that a registered nurse makes more than an accountant, or if an accountant for some reason makes a whole bunch of money over there in Nigeria, it's comparable. But just letting you know, 119,000 NGN is about 75 US dollars. So that means combined dual income that both his parents are working as Israel Adesanya is growing up was about $150 a month, guys. So I'm just letting you know his comfort level, his success is a lot more different than someone, you know, over here in a first world country, you know, like in Europe or in America, looking at success, guys. So, and then also, we're not from Africa, so I have no idea what it's like. And just letting you know, my brother-in-law is from Nigeria, and his parents, they're very well off in Nigeria. I think some of his family's even royalty, yet they sent off their kids, including him and his sisters, not sent off, but brought them over to America to make sure they had a better opportunity and education and just choices for them. And so, to me, it seems that the logical choice would be that Africa was a lot harder for Israel Adesanya. That's why he had to come to America. And I think for some reason, Africa, I was going to make a joke, but I'm going to hold that in there because I might get in a little bit too much trouble on YouTube. But, so, what do y'all think here? Do you have to be in your country respectively training to be the respective champion representing that country? Meaning, Kamaru Usman, Francis Ngannou, Israel Adesanya, were they the three original African champions, or are they not because they're not working out and training in Africa? What is your opinion on this? I believe that they're representing Africa. You heard Ngannou's story. We've broken it down a couple of times here on this channel. Some of these guys' stories are so insanely awesome. So to me, all day, every day, in my opinion, they are African champions. I think Dricus, though, adds a new mix to the bunch. It's kind of cool seeing a white African champion. You don't see that every single day, and I think it just adds some more media and stuff like that. I also have a good inclination to believe that this whole Dricus and Adesanya beef is completely fake. It is staged. If you remember, did you look at that when we were showing the whole beef right now on the MMA channel, when it showed Israel Adesanya saying his life was good, didn't have to worry about anything? That media was back when he was like kickboxing in China and in his glory days in Australia, when he do all this weird, funny media. When he was fighting in China, remember his interview or that media promotion they did where literally Israel Adesanya said, "I am a Chinaman, I am Chinese." Israel would basically just say anything on these freaking things for a buck. That's just who he is. He's a master promoter. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Kind of a fun one, kind of a goofy one, a little bit dumb. If you appreciate me going around, grabbing the best stories, putting them here together, and just continuing the conversation of MMA, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Also, do you think this Adesanya and Dricus beef, do you think it's fake or do you think it's real, guys? Leave your comments down below. September 1st, I'm going to go through all my followers. I'm going to send one of y'all randomly a pack of Pro V1 golf balls. I'm so sorry to my followers. If you're one of my best friends or someone that I personally know and I pick you, I'm going to go on to someone else so people don't get mad at me. And with that, I'm leaving it there. Visit my links and my sponsors down below. I'm out. Peace.